There are 5 that have won a Formula One World Championship and the Indianapolis 500, starting with Graham Hill. Jim Clark actually won the 500 the year before that in 1965. Mario Andretti, the last American Formula One World Champion, the last to win a Grand Prix. That is an American. Emerson Fittipaldi had a second career of great success when he moved to IndyCar racing. Jacques Villeneuve, who was second in his debut, first the next year. And we have 5 in the field this year that have competed in a Formula One race. Still under yellow for a track inspection. So let's check in with Robin Miller.
Kevin, when you talk about Formula One guys having success here, I think about Teo Fabi when he came here, and I was here for his first test. He ran 5 laps, pulled in and said, get somebody else. I can't do this. This is insane. They're too fast. The walls are in my way. He ended up winning the pole a few months later. And you see Roberto Guerrero, he should have won the race in 87 after Mario broke. For some reason, road racers have always had success on ovals faster than road racers. The oval guys can have success on road courses. And Mario says, they're just big. It's just a big road course here. You just got to make those corners. Marty?
Robin, the engines have refired. This caution flag about to be lifted here momentarily. It was for debris on the racetrack, and the man who found it was Takuma Sato. They ran over it with the right rear, so they had to come in. They had a cut on the right rear and replace the right rear. So you see Takuma going back out with brand new tires. So a little debris on the racetrack, Kevin. That was the reason for this caution. That is now over. Back to green.
And a brand new sponsor for Takuma Sato. That was just added a couple of days ago. He has his best start in this year's 500. 4th with Andretti Autosport. Takuma Sato can win this race this year.
He's definitely brave. He made a move on Dario Franchitti late with 1 lap to go, 2 laps to go a few years ago. They made contact. He spun. He hit the wall. He was very, very close to winning the race. And that Andretti team has solid cars this year. All of their cars very fast. So, Townsend, you know better than I do how greased up this team is to try to win this race.
It was exactly a year ago that Takuma Sato stopped me the night before Carb Day, so it had been Thursday night a year ago, and said, can you please help me? My car's handling terribly. Where are you on springs? Where are you on... he was desperate because his car was so bad. Now, fast forward, he's with the Andretti team. He's confident. He's starting up front. He couldn't be happier.
Scott Dixon coming down the pit lane. Going to do some practice pit stops here, I would imagine. This is your last chance to get all your race guys out here at the same time. You see the guys plug in right here. They got tires going on. They're going to do a quick stop, in and out, practice their stops.
Slightly new look like Sato for Dixon. Camping World just came on board and was confirmed this week for the 500 and maybe more.
This right here is huge for Dixon. All these little things, like right there. How fast can I get away with on cold tires, full fuel on the apron, and get up to speed? So you're working every aspect of preparation for race day. You're not just putting around. You're going to go get right into traffic as Montoya comes drafting up on Dixon, trying to go flat through turn 3 here. If you're Scott Dixon, and tuck right in.
Montoya making just his second start of the year. We saw him in the Fitzgerald glider kits a little while ago, and this was the car number that Montoya had last year. It's Joseph Newgarden, and he's not been, like all the Penske, as quick as he would like throughout the month.
You follow Rossi now. Not sure whose car that is behind him, but the colors on that are new to me, so... Rossi is in the tow. He's in the tow of Jack Harvey, and they're behind Tony Kanaan. So
sister car, Jack Harvey with the Mike Shank Andretti program. Marty?
The guys, the winner of the 100th to 500 would love to make it back-to-back Indy 500s. Alexander Rossi very happy in practice on Monday. In fact, his quote to the team when they were done was just wax it. That's all we need to do. He is really in that tow. Indy guys going very low on the racetrack, but very happy with the chassis. So they're just going to do a couple laps here. They may not even run the 40 laps that Honda is allowing them to run today. They were going to do a 20-lap run here at the very beginning. That's what he's doing right now. And PT and Townsend, you can talk about this. So important what he's doing right now. How to feel your car in traffic. That's what a lot of drivers are talking about, what they want to accomplish today, how that car feels behind another car. And certainly Alexander Rossi getting a handful of that right now.
He's really tucked up the back of this car, and I don't even think, Townsend, he really wants to pass. He just wants to see how close he can run to him, because this is what it's going to take being that close to a car behind, in front of you, being able to stay that close is going to enable him to get by on the straightaway.
Not just for the handling, but remember Alexander Rossi, the master of fuel consumption. So if I'm an engineer on the Andretti team on that stand, I'm going to be studying what mileage did I just get following in the tow? How far can we go on a tank?
I'll tell you right now, we got big speeds already. Connor Daly, 225.2. Castroneves, 225. So the track is green, but the speeds are fast today.
Jan?
You're talking about the 50 car, the Mike Schenk Racing. Of course, that's a cooperative effort with Andretti Autosport. So when you see that drafting practice, or at least how the car feels for Alexander Rossi, that's kind of a team play. And Townsend, you know that so well. That's been the key to the Andretti team. Get these cars together when you know their teammates, get a feel for the car, what it's going to do in this kind of turbulence, because it's not just a slingshot like we see Tony Kanaan doing here. It's more, Townsend, as you know, how does my car work when I'm right behind my teammate?
Alonso jumped to P1 for about a lap. Now Dixon P1 at 225.7. Castroneves third.
There's Tony Kanaan, one of the former winners. And with Ganassi, as we see some mixing in traffic going around Hinchcliffe, that was Jay Harvey making his return, Jay Howard rather, making his return for the first time since 2011.
We saw Hinchcliffe's car still bottoming, still touching the ground as he turned into threes. We see Ed Carpenter make a move down the front straightaway. He's not one to just sit behind cars. He's going to probably want to drive by every one of these guys.
Well, he's going to want to get up there, Paul, and see if he can catch Scott Dixon, the two of them starting next to each other for this 101st running of the Indy 500. And Ed Carpenter, what a tremendous job out of that team in qualifying, in my opinion. If you look at where Penske ended up, their worst qualifying since 95, and look at how strong Ed Carpenter was as the lead Chevrolet program, what a terrific job they've done all month.
Alonso getting passed by J.R. Hildebrand, it looks like, or he's trying to make a move on these guys. See that car very neutral. And he's going to be able to make a move. He's P2 right now, and he's going to make a move on JR here.
You know, Robin was talking about that transition that we've seen road course racers make to doing ovals. How impressed are you with what he's been able to do? Is it expected?
He's done a terrific job, incredibly focused. Gilles de Ferran's really been coaching him through the process all month. He has the best information you could have with Andretti Autosport, a big team, the best cars on the track last year in the race, so he has a lot of confidence. The hard part is this right here. How do you learn what you can only learn through experience, which is getting out in traffic and understanding how to time your passes, time your runs through turbulent air, and that's going to be the difference on race day.
And I spoke to his crew chief this morning, David Populars. He worked at Andretti Green when I was there. He was always with Dario, and he just said his timing is a little bit off. And you saw that last time he tried to pass JR. It was a little late. He had to back off from right there. He was just, the timing is not right there just yet. So,
and the thing with Carb Day, and he's experiencing this right now, Alonso's figuring out this is different than practice. J.R. Hildebrand's not laying out at the entry to turn one saying go right ahead. This is race day focus and mentality, which is I'm not giving you an inch, dude. You've got to make the pass, and there goes JR to pit lane. But that entries at 1 and 3, they will be heavily contested today and even more so on race day.
Alonso has passed every quiz. The final exam is on Sunday.
Nice four-car battle here as we're on board with Ryan Hunter-Reay. This guy right here is a guy, if you give him a good car on race day, he can get the job done. So he's he's going to be my pick for Sunday. He had great odds in Vegas, and I decided to pull the trigger on him.
And this is reminiscent of last year. Hunter-Reay and Hinchcliffe running nose to tail. They ran 1-2 for much of the first 100 laps. I was running in third, and we could see something just like this on race day with Dixon. There you go again. Dixon not going to let Hunter-Reay have an easy pass into turn one. Hunter-Reay's going to have to drop back and now build his momentum over the next 3/4 of the lap.
Townsend, you obviously have driven these cars. You ran at the front all last year. I was talking with some drivers yesterday, and you have to figure out how to pass. It's different, especially as it used to be. How do you set up a pass?
If you question whether Penske was going to be competitive, Montoya just jumped to P1 at 226. So look out, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the times in practice, obviously, Paul, you know this, all toe dependent. And really what you want to do is work on your car. You asked about time in the pass as Hunter-Reay comes to pit lane. It's all about momentum, and the key is rolling the throttle on. If you do have to breathe it, is make sure you're flat when you get to the apex. For now, let's go down to Marty with more on Hunter-Reay.
And you see him coming to pit road, Townsend. He's coming to pit road because he has a vibration. They have another set of tires ready, so that can be very unnerving out there at 230 miles an hour. That's why Ryan Hunter-Reay is so competitive coming down pit road. Meanwhile, his teammate Alexander Rossi is on pit road. He said, I don't know what's going on with the engine in this car, but it's the slowest car or engine I've ever had in an Indy car. So this is a brand new engine for all the Honda teams today. He was very upset with how the engine was not performing on the racetrack. So Alexander Rossi coming in, Rob Edwards talking to him now, trying to figure out exactly what could be going on with the race engine for Alexander Rossi.
So maybe in reflecting on Rossi following Harvey there for several laps, it wasn't so much saving fuel. He was just trying to get by and didn't feel like he had the oomph to do that. All the Hondas on a new spec today. This is the first install lap for all the Honda teams with a new spec of motor, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
And some of the Chevys put theirs in for the practice on Monday, so at least some of them I know had them in on Monday, so they have a little gauge already, and the feeling is that, yeah, they made some improvements on that latest spec engine. Juan Pablo Montoya is the fastest at over 226 miles per hour. It's the final practice before the 101st Indianapolis 500.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute to society. Any idiot with a gun can pull a job. My boys never understood that.
Animal Kingdom. Watch anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
What if technology gave us the power to turn this enemy into an ally?
Microsoft and its partners are using smart traps to capture mosquitoes and sequence their DNA to fight disease. There are over 100 million pieces of DNA in every sample. With the Microsoft Cloud, we can analyze the data faster than ever before. If we can detect new viruses before they spread, we may someday prevent outbreaks before they begin.
What makes Wendy's Baconator different? While other guys use frozen beef from far away, Wendy's only serves fresh beef from ranches close by.
So we don't have to freeze it.
Add 6 strips of thick applewood smoked bacon, and Wendy's Baconator isn't just different, it's deliciously different.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how the 100% Eversoft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, yeah, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo. The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
You never thought the price of a laundry upgrade could be so low, or saving on a refrigerator could give you chills. With Memorial Day savings, never say never. Get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 40% on major appliances like the Samsung Black Stainless Suite only at the Home Depot.
Carb Day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the final practice before the 500. Fernando Alonso has just gone to the top of the speed charts. And it's practice, but it doesn't look like practice. Watch this from just a moment ago. That's Sage Karam right behind Graham Rahal, and Ed Carpenter was also in the mix there.
That was a little too close for a Friday practice, Paul, in terms of putting yourself at risk. Watch Karam here drafting up on Rahal, and he just chops right across the bow as Carpenter looks to go up into the draft. They were on board with Ed Carpenter.
I think you need to watch Ed Carpenter's steering wheel because he turned over across the back. He just lifted there and moved over. I think you're just being a little bit over dramatic.
I don't know. Sage Karam's he's had plenty of fireworks with Ed Carpenter through the years.
And you.
Not with Ed.
Jan, tell us more about Sage Karam, still just 22 years old, but set for his 4th 500.
Yes, and one of the reasons why he is so much faster today or at least appears to be so much more racy, is that they broke the under tray in the Monday practice. He said, well, I loved the car, and then all of a sudden the car was horrible, and we couldn't figure out what went wrong. And he said, thankfully, we got back to the shop, realized the under tray, I'd lost a lot of downforce, and that Mecum Auctions car that he's driving right now, he says, I love it, and you can see when he gets aggressive, he loves to play and make those late moves.
I like his driving style. I know Townsend's not a fan, but he reminds me of you, Townsend, when you were a rookie.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of comparisons to Paul Tracy.
Hey, I like his style, man. I like his style.
A lot of barbs.
He's fun.
A lot of barbs flying here on Carb Day. Get aggressive in the booth.
I just miss you. It's been a while. It's been a month.
Newgarden going to the inside of Jay Howard. I think Jay Howard has been impressive this month. A lot of people wonder, what could a guy do that hasn't been in the seat in a race since 2011? He's been quick, no dramas.
Yeah, but he's going to have to figure out how to not lose that much of a gap there when being passed into turn one. That's a key lesson. Is guy drafts up on you, is going to duck inside to turn one. You get a lot of turbulent air, but you can't afford to lose 10 or 15 car lengths. He has a lot of confidence in the team, though, and the Schmidt guys told me this is the best third car we've ever run in terms of people and equipment.
He's one of those guys that even though he's not being in a race car, he's always in a go-kart somewhere. He's got a go-kart team. He helps out a lot of kids at the go-kart track, so he's always driving something, so he's keeping himself busy all the time.
If you want to identify cars, there's no better friend to a race announcer than that yellow Menards car, Simon Pagenaud. As we watch him, Katie, tell us more.
And I talked to Simon yesterday, and he has just kind of been slow all month long. And I asked him, what's up with that? And he said, speed is really an ego thing for race car drivers, and he just hasn't had it. So he's lost a lot of his confidence. Today, he told me they're really focusing on that right rear alignment because he wants to make the car more versatile. As you see him make a pass there on Sebastien Bourdais. They're also working on some different gear ratios in order to get some better restarts. Townsend.
Thanks,
Katie. He's going to need to do something. Currently, he is 28th quickest at 2:21, so a fair ways off the pace to Montoya. So,
well, the biggest thing when we look out the window, Paul, from our booth position here is to see 3 Penske cars well down pit lane. It's been a long time, maybe never has this happened where Penske has qualified this poorly since 1995 when they didn't make the race entirely. This is the worst start ever if you exclude that year for Penske Racing. Average starting positions this year, again, the worst at an average position of 18.2. Now, this is the first time they've also run 5 cars, but still, for a team that is always at the sharp end of this grid, that's a disaster.
Well, they're at the sharp end of practice right now because Montoya just jumped to P2. We got Power at P3 and Castroneves at P7. And then you've got to go down the list to 19th for Newgarden, and then Pagenaud at 28th. So Pagenaud's got a little bit of work to do, but he's got 3 fast teammates to look at the data, see if he needs to make any setup changes. As we go on board with Power, who's getting a run on Alonso.
Alonso defends to the inside, takes the draft off of the car in front. Gives Power the corner, but you're not going to see that on race day. Mikhail Aloshin probably going to drive it in there side by side on race day as Power comes up on one of the Juncos cars.
That's Saavedra. Gary Peterson and AFS partnering with Juncos, making their debut at Indianapolis. Spencer Piggott, who has raced with them starting in go-karts when he was 9 years old, on loan from Ed Carpenter Racing, is in the other car. We saw Will Power a moment ago in that silver Verizon. Tell us more, Marty.
Well, and I think we just talked about how Penske was maybe a little bit worried after qualifying that they didn't quite have the speed that they would want, but they always felt like they would race pretty good. And then Monday, practice didn't go so well for the Penske guys. They kind of lost a little bit of speed. So this final practice is very important for Team Penske. And you can see, as PT was mentioning on the speed chart, that they certainly have gained a little bit as his teammate Simon Pagenaud is certainly looking for some more speed. It's a little racy out there, isn't it, guys, for a final practice?
I'll tell you what, they must have done something to Alexander Rossi's car because he just jumped to P2 at 2:26.3. He was in the pits, made some changes, so maybe some adjustments from Honda. His car's fast now.
Well, sometimes when you rebuild a car or put a new motor in, as we're taking a look at Carlos Munoz here, sometimes you can't be, you're not getting full throttle. They can make adjustments to some of the boost. But Carlos Munoz right now trying to find a little bit more speed. Currently sits 21st, and that AJ Foyt team hasn't quite hit their stride so far this month. You know, years past, Carlos Munoz always a force here.
Second 2 times.
Yeah, and he's, fast in qualifying. And from the day he ever showed up at this track, he was fast straight away. Robin?
Well, we got one team, Connor Daly's team's in Indianapolis, and Carlos Munoz's team is in Houston. A lot of new people. Mike Collar was the engineer for Connor Daly. They've gotten faster every day they've run. So guess what? Carlos Munoz took Connor Daly's setup, and they're trying to learn what he's doing, but he likes his race car in traffic. The kid's a really good racer. He hasn't been qualifying well, but he's been racing well, and that's what Foyt's counting on race day.
We're about halfway through the final practice. The party is just getting started. It's a full day of activity as we work our way towards the greatest day in motorsport coming up on Sunday.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute to society. Any idiot with a gun can pull a job. I've always never understood that.
Animal Kingdom. Watch anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
What if technology gave us the power to turn this enemy into an ally?
Just a little question for you guys. Please give it a like or let me know if you want me to stream the Freedom 100 as well, which starts in 30 minutes.
With the Microsoft Cloud, we can analyze the data faster than ever before. If we can detect new viruses before they spread, we may someday prevent outbreaks before they begin.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a Grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how
Alright, I think that's definitely a yes. Might as well, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo. The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
Come on, please miss this. Please miss this.
Down to a free throw.
What is this?
It's a food udon. It's a big shot.
Food udon.
Right, yeah. Okay, got his arm.
Oh, no. It's a miss, but, oh, man.
Put it back. Put it back.
What is that? His hip? His pelvis?
I'm just trying to
Well, then he at least needs to be symmetrical.
We could have a bit of a delay, but we'll be back with overtime.
You never thought the price of a laundry upgrade could be so low, or saving on a refrigerator could give you chills. With Memorial Day savings, never say never. Get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 40% on major appliances like this Whirlpool refrigerator. Only at the Home Depot.
Carb Day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Getting set for the 101st 500 with the final practice. A yellow right now for a track inspection. Well, qualifying was this past weekend. On Saturday, Sebastien Bourdais was on a big lap. By far the fastest of the day at over 231 miles per hour. And then this, a frightening crash. Worst I can recall in many, many years. And for Sebastien Bourdais, we were so pleased to see him immediately moving the visor. The Himaltro safety crew was there 9 seconds after he stopped. And it's obviously significant, but it could have been so much worse. And look at the timeline. Surgery on Saturday night, up and walking a bit over the weekend, and released from the hospital on Wednesday, now in a rehab facility.
6:30 this morning, he sent out a tweet. He was at the rehab facility doing his first workout. First thing I did when I got here, landed at Indianapolis Airport, went straight to see Bourdais at the rehab facility. There's a picture of him, I think, 2 days after the accident. His crew came to see him. They were devastated as a group to see the car they had worked so hard to build destroyed. But look at him
walking out on crutches. And I got to say, guys, his personality is right. He's complaining about being in the bed. He's ready to go. He's fed up with being horizontal, as we see Dale Coyne, who, man, you have to feel for Dale Coyne, leading the championship with Bourdais. They had the fastest car on the track in practice. They were well set to be in the Fast 9, Paul, and then it just all fell apart.
Oh, he's done such a great job this year, not only with Bourdais, but the whole team. Let's not forget about Ed Jones, who's qualified very well. They put James Davidson in the car this morning. I met his dad this morning, and he's actually doing a stand-up job right now, currently P11. So not a lot of time in the car. He's had very minimal practice and doing a good job.
Well, they've worked very hard, the Dale Coyne team, to take the backup car, which is a full road course spec car, and try to very quickly convert it into a speedway car. There's a lot of work to be done to make that happen, as we see Davison there in the Geico Honda.
He'll be making his third 500 start. Excuse me, Jan, go ahead.
Yes, if you look carefully, look at that rear wing. That's the only car on the starting field that has, that's an old-style Dallara wing that Craig Hampson decided, hey, if we're starting 33rd, no one else is running this. It produces a lot more downforce. Sure, it's a little draggy, but hey, what the heck? We'll try something different that no one else has asked if they could use. So they've gone back in the parts supply and tried something to produce some more downforce starting at the back and keeping everything safe. You never know. With tricky conditions, it can help.
That, not only that, but they can't afford to crash another car in the race. So I think it's going on the safe side, which is actually not a bad game plan, to be racy and be able to pass and stay close to other cars and get a decent finish out of this.
Look at the crowd that's already joined us here, getting set for the Freedom 100, the Indy Lights race. Watched them in practice earlier this week. They're going side by side entire laps around this track. It will be good. And then the pit stop competition and concerts too later today with the Steve Miller Band and Bare Naked Ladies. Katie?
Kevin, I have caught up with Dale Coyne, who is the team owner for Sebastien Bourdais. So, Dale, we want to know, have you talked to Seb lately? How's he feeling?
He's feeling good. He got moved out of the hospital Wednesday, and he's in a rehab facility now. And if all goes as planned, we'll get him out here Sunday.
And what does that mean for the rest of the season for your team?
And the surgeon that night said he's out for the rest of the season. Seb says he wants to do Le Mans, so he'll be back as quick as he can, but it's going to be a long recovery.
I don't know if he's going to make it for Le Mans, but what about Sonoma?
Maybe. He's targeting Sonoma.
All right, now you've moved down to Ed Jones' pit. We want to talk a little bit about him. Seb has coached Ed Jones as a rookie. What sort of advice has he given him?
Just a lot of good stuff to talk to him about the start of the race and how chaotic that is, and keeping it safe so you're there at the end.
All right, we hopefully Ed can take that advice. James Davison will be filling in for Seb. Kevin?
And Ed Jones is going to join us in the booth during the Indy Lights race coming up in a little bit. He's had an impressive, not just month, but season as a rookie.
I totally agree. He's made really smart decisions on the racetrack. He's got himself in a nice spot as a rookie, finishing races, gathering experience, and so far here at Indianapolis, he's been terrific.
So we see Helio and his teammate Newgard coming out on track. These guys have found a little bit of pace today. Right now, Castroneves is 8th quickest. Newgard still down at 19th. That new gold paint job. He's doing a big promotion for Shell. New helmet design. A gold leaf, spun gold leaf on it. So very, very fancy, stylish package from the Penske team.
It's a different sponsor, but it looks a little bit like Danny Sullivan's Miller High Life car back from the late 80s. Helio trying to become the four-time winner. And he has been so close a couple of different times. Jan, tell us more about the three-time champion.
Well, he likes his car, and he liked it on Monday. And I said, well, you're going to try something different to kind of get that speed back and race pace today? He said, no. We really just want to confirm what we have. I had a car that I could work with. He says, maybe it's not quite at the pointy end as some of these Hondas are, but it was a car that I could work with, and our team traditionally can really tune during the race. So right now, when he's running behind cars and he's trying to get a feel for it, at least in his words, he wants to just confirm what he liked on Monday.
Look at these front wings on the car. If we can go back to an onboard, as we go to Alonso now, racing with his teammate making a late pass, and you see right there, Hunter Ray let him go by. So in the race,
that's not going to happen.
Hunter Ray will chop the nose right off of you if that's the last lap of the 500.
I hope somebody will explain that to Fernando Alonso. Say, listen, all these passes that you're making in practice, well down at the end of the front straightaway, they will be fiercely contested, side by side. So that'll be an eye-opener the first time that happens for Fernando Alonso.
They continue to run and work traffic and try to learn how the car behaves. Charlie Kimball is one of those in that mix, and he's leading that pack of cars. Marco Andretti, third in line. We heard the bite a little while ago when he said, "My key is don't panic," as we watch Charlie Kimball. And Charlie has been strong. He's finished third and fifth here a couple of times, so keep an eye on him. Marco said in the piece we played, "Don't panic." I talked with him a little more extensively about that. He said, we've fooled ourselves before where the car is not bad. I'm not interested in anything that happens. I just want to tick off our boxes and make sure that the engine is installed properly and so forth. We're ready. We've got a good car.
And I think that's a big departure for how Marco Andretti would normally do Carb Day, and I think that's the influence of Brian Herta moving over to his timing stand. Normally, Marco would be out here looking for the big lap. I want to be P1. I want a big toe. I'm going to drop to the back of the pack. Seems to be working his car in traffic, trying to find the balance as he comes to pit lane. Pitting off turn 3, that tells me he's not actually happy about something. Normally, you're going to practice coming off 4. He is running in a pack, so maybe he's doing that for safety. But I'm a little surprised that he's going to drop out of traffic that early, come in, hopefully make a change and get the car more comfortable.
That yellow car right behind Scott Dixon is Oriol Servia as we ride on with the Camping World car. And we see a caution, our third of this session.
A little unusual to have this many cautions on a Carb Day practice. I wonder if that's a debris cut tire again.
It is a track inspection, so gives us a chance to step away for just a moment. Everyone in Indianapolis is here. It's Carb Day.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute to society. Any idiot with a gun can pull a job. My boys never understood that.
Animal Kingdom. Watch anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
Look closely. Hidden in every swing, every chip, and every putt is data that can make the difference between winning and losing. The Microsoft Cloud helps the PGA Tour turn countless points of data into insights that transform their business and will enhance the game for players and fans.
The Microsoft Cloud turns information into insight.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how the 100% Eversoft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, yeah, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo. The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
Wendy's Double Stack is still an option in the 4 for $4. With a quarter pound of fresh beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. Like how owls shouldn't be able to turn their heads all the way around.
Whew, wouldn't like that deal.
The Double Stack and the 4 for $4. A deal so great, it's impossibly good, but not for long.
You never thought the price of a laundry upgrade could be so low, or saving on a refrigerator could give you chills. With Memorial Day savings, never say never. Get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 40% on major appliances like this LG laundry pair. Only at the Home Depot.
Coast of Indianapolis has taken the day off. They are here. We wish you were here if you weren't, and we certainly wish Sebastien Bourdais was here, but he's with us on the phone as we continue our Carb Day coverage from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Seb, it's great to get a chance to chat with you. All things considered, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm doing about as well as I could have ever hoped for. Surgery went well, and I was walking 2 days after, really the next day after surgery, which sounded a little weird. As long as the pain is managed, there's really no big issue. So yeah, it's just gonna be a long road ahead. 6 weeks before I can put my weight on my right leg and really start getting after rehab properly. But I was in the gym this morning. I started arm cycling and at 7 a.m. So they keep me on my toes here at the rehab center.
Hey, Sebastien, it's Paul. Quick question. In anybody's career, there comes a moment in time when they say, you know what, I've got a question whether I want to do this or not. That moment for me came in Las Vegas when Dan died, and I haven't driven a car really in anger since then. We obviously see that you're focused on getting back in a car, which is great to see. So did any of those thoughts pop in, or were you like, I got to get back in this car as soon as possible?
No, I mean, I still got the juice in me. That's still what I love doing, and I'm obviously still competitive at it. And we had a great car, and it's left me wanting more. So I just wish, obviously, qualifying had gone differently. I wish I had gone quite a bit stiffer on the front bar going into turn one, and I would have probably made it out of turn two and managed the wiggliness all the way through that qualifying run. But it wasn't meant to be, and it's a shame. I never had a car like that fast. Dale, Craig, Olivier gave me the opportunity to have an awesome race car, and we'll just keep at it, see what we got next year.
Sebastien, we're so happy to hear that you're doing well and already getting back at it. Rest up, and maybe we'll see you here on Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
And Sebastien Bourdais, and unfortunately he dealt with a couple of blown motors over the month, and yet another Honda appears to have expired.
And that looks like big motor oil coming out. It's a comprehensive failure to see that volume of oil coming out, probably the bottom end of the motor, I would guess.
You see it's oil and water mixed together. There's either something has come out of the side of the block, either a piston or a rod is broken. It's knocked a hole in the side of the car, in the side of the motor, and all that oil in the motor is now running out of the side of the car. And he was coming out of the pits when it happened, I think. I don't even think he was up to speed yet.
So here again is James Hinchcliffe losing that power.
And that's terrifying, as you know, Paul, coming into a corner in anger, especially that guy, James Hinchcliffe, who had a mechanical failure that led to that catastrophic accident down there in, I think that's turn 3.
The reason we saw him jump out of the car in a hurry, because a lot of that oil, when you come to a stop, will start running into the cockpit, and you can see he's sitting there for a second, and then he jumped out of there real quick. So that's not a fun feeling when you get that oil or water run into the cockpit.
Drops out of the motor, it then sits on the floor. The under tray of the car probably goes forward, and you'll feel the heat transferring through the tub into your seat. So glad he got out all right. But remember, guys, let's look for Hinchcliffe here. 29 laps complete. That's 29 laps total on that motor.
This might be a situation now with this engine blowing up with Honda. They might say, hey, all the rest of you guys, let's stop right now and look at everything, look at all our data. So you might see an exit now of some of the Honda teams with only 15 minutes, 11 minutes to go. They might just say, hey, cars are quick, Sato's quick, Dixon's quick, Kanon's now quick. So they got a lot of cars right at the front.
And look at Honda's struggles so far this season. 5 failures at Long Beach, 8 at Phoenix, and several this month, Robin, in Indianapolis.
That's number 7, Townsend, this week. Well, since the Grand Prix when Seb's motor pitched. So that's 7. They've been restricting their running, and a lot of people are talking about. I was talking to Montoya. I said, "What do you think? Do you have anything for the Hondas?" He says, "Yeah, reliability." Yep. So I think about that. Think about how reliable the engines have been in this series for the last several years, and suddenly it's a problem. Jan?
And Robin, when you talk about those 7 engines, we look here, of course, at Castroneves with a Chevy. But on the Honda side, when you say, Paul, well, let's just stop running, they actually know what some of these problems are. They have found the failures in 4 common engines, but it's not something they can change. They're hardware pieces that are already built into the engines, and they don't really have any recourse. It's not software. It's not something small. They basically have to try to reduce the duty cycle of the engine, but it's not like they can pull something out of the box. They have a series of something hardware related that is also randomly failing at different mileages that they don't know exactly what to do. Well, Katie?
And Jan, this month of May is going drastically different than last year's for James Hinchcliffe. Remember, he sat on the pole last year. There's been a lot of panic down here within the last few minutes. They brought James Hinchcliffe back to his pit box, and he immediately jumped on the headsets, as you see there with his engineer, Robert Guillet. And I asked Hinch, what is the difference between this year and last year? And he said they've just had a ton of bad luck. Monday and Tuesday, they had mechanical gremlins. Wednesday, it was really windy here, and he feels like they just really haven't had any on-track time. And you see James Hinchcliffe very animated there. That might be what he felt when that engine blew.
Honda has 4 of the 5 top starters from qualifying speed, 14 of the top 17. This has been a huge storyline all month. Honda versus Chevy. The Hondas are quicker, certainly in a straight line, but will they last?
Well, and here's the thing is, how many motors do they have left? Because when you build these motors, you start with speccing your orders on camshafts and pistons and rods months and months ahead of time. And they've been going through a lot of motors, guys, and I'm not sure how many they actually have here on location.
Right now, they are 2nd through 7th on the timesheets. Castroneves in the lead Chevy up there. The next one is Newgarden, who has now jumped up to 8th, Montoya, and Power in 11th. So the Penske guys have come alive, and then from there on, it's all Hondas. Hunter Ray is 10th. So,
well, right now, if you think about Honda, the speed is totally secondary to reliability. Yes. Can they go 500 miles?
Under caution for the lost engine for James Hinchcliffe. We should still have a few more moments of activity. Stay with us. Plenty to come from Carb Day in Indianapolis.
Sharon was given a few. Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute to society. Any idiot with a gun can pull a job. I've always never understood that.
Animal Kingdom. Watch anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
Look closely. Hidden in every swing, every chip, and every putt is data that can make the difference between winning and losing. The Microsoft Cloud helps the PGA Tour turn countless points of data into insights that transform their business and will enhance the game for players and fans.
The Microsoft Cloud turns information into insight.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoftie, I'm going to do it while riding a grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how the 100% Eversoft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo. The Fruit of the Loom Eversoftie. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
Wendy's Double Stack is still an option in the 4-for-4. With a quarter pound of fresh beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. Like how owls shouldn't be able to turn their heads all the way around.
Whew, wouldn't like that deal.
The Double Stack and the 4-for-4. A deal so great, it's impossibly good, but not for long.
You never thought the price of a laundry upgrade could be so low, or saving on a refrigerator could give you chills. With Memorial Day savings, never say never. Get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 40% on major appliances like this Whirlpool refrigerator. Only at the Home Depot.
This summer, the future of Team USA takes their first steps toward the Tokyo 2020 Games. The Team USA Summer Champions Series presented by Comcast continues Friday, June 23rd on NBCSN.
And welcome back to Carb Day coverage live on NBCSN from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where the number 5 of James Hinchcliffe just ran into a little bit of bad luck. James, what did you feel when that engine blew?
I felt what engineers would call a suboptimal rapid negative acceleration.
These are some big words.
Heading into turn 3. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've been having some issues across the Honda camp. Not sure exactly what it was at this point, but obviously less than ideal. But you were joking, like you're still smiling. What's happening? Yeah, I mean, I felt bad going into 3. I wanted to be offline, but at that point, you're already committed to the corner. I tried to stay as low as I could, and I don't think we were leaking at that point. So hopefully it doesn't disturb the rest of the practice for everybody else. But I'm just happy it didn't happen 20 minutes later, because that would have been lap 5 of the 500. So there's definitely a glass half full way to look at this.
But speaking of race day, does this give you any concern for 500 miles?
Not really. I mean, we're going to get an engine. We're going to put it in. There's nothing we can do about what happens from there on out. The car, and the good news is the best it's been all month. That was by far the best that we felt in the 5 cam. We had one little change we've been back and forth on all month. We're like, all right, let's put this thing to bed. And we went out there, and then that happened. So we're still going to lose sleep over whether that change works or not. But the car feels pretty good in traffic, which is going to be important starting 17th. So we'll get a new Honda in it. We'll be fast on race day, and it should be all good.
All right, thanks, Hinch. Over to Marty.
Okay, let's chat with Rob Edwards, one of the lead men at Andretti Autosport, and in the Honda camp. You see that happen, Rob. How much concern does that put in you for your whole camp?
Well, you have to be a little bit concerned, right? But I guess in some ways, right, better it happens today than the first few laps on Sunday, and at least Honda have got a chance to take a look and give us some more information before the race.
A lot of teams talking about reliability and can the Honda engines make it 500 miles. I asked you before this practice session started, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried were you? You said a 1. Not worried at all. How worried are you now?
I might be 1.5 now.
A little bit more than that, right?
No, I mean, again, yeah, there have been some failures, but if you look at all of the Honda engines in the field, right, 18 cars with Honda engines, and the number of miles run, so 1.5. I'll stick with that.
All right. For your guy, Alexander Rossi, he reported earlier on maybe the slowest engine he ever had in an IndyCar. Did you get that issue fixed?
Yeah, we did. I think some of the points of comparison he was using for that, not unnaturally, was just, what he was feeling. We were still dialing the engine in, and by the time we did the second run, everything was where it should have been.
All right, so a little bit of a growing concern here in the Honda camp, but Rob said not too concerned just yet. Jan?
With Jonathan Duguid, who is the engineer for Helio Castroneves. You're on the top of the charts right now, and you've been seeking speed all through qualifying. Have you found something now for Helio?
Yeah, Helio's pretty happy right now. The pack is going pretty quick at the moment. I don't think that's going to be representative race pace, but he's really happy with the car, so I think we're looking good for Sunday.
He had said prior to this practice he didn't really want to change the car, but I've seen you changing the trim level, the downforce. Have you found kind of a happy medium? I know it's cool today, but something that'll help you in the race?
Yeah, basically, since we qualified back in 19th, we're going to be back in the pack, so we're just trying to understand what different downforce levels do in traffic and what he wants from the car.
All right, for a driver trying to win his 4th Indy 500, that's pretty good news.
Well, thank you, Jan. And bonus coverage coming up and bonus practice time. They have just added 5 minutes to this session, so we'll go until 12:05 Eastern. And getting back to the storyline of Honda versus Chevy, and the Hondas are having some problems with reliability. This is the way it used to be. That's what you have when you have competition, and it's unfortunate for the teams that are affected, but this adds to the intrigue and the drama to me.
Well, for sure, the drama. You heard Rob Edwards say, I've gone to a 1.5 out of 10. I'm not buying that, because when you build engines in today's age, you look for consistency and repeatability. So what does that mean if one does it, Paul? Certainly you have to think there's the potential for vulnerability across the field.
And certainly, it's a bad break for Hinchcliffe today, but it could be an advantage for Sunday. He's going to have a brand new, fresh motor. Back in the day, not long ago, when you were racing an IndyCar, we put a brand new motor in every day. One for practice, one for qualifying, and one for the race. So some of these guys have got, a couple hundred miles on their motors now. Hinchcliffe's going to have a brand new bullet for the race, so there might be an advantage for that.
Well, we have seen some impressive speeds for a practice. Remember, they don't have the horsepower available. They turned up the turbo for qualifying, and that's why we saw the fastest qualifying speeds from Scott Dixon that we've seen in 21 years, over 232 miles per hour. So we've got that one Chevy, and then all the Hondas right after him. And Fernando Alonso continues to be quick. What will he do in race traffic coming up on Sunday. Well, this is the place to be. It's a scheduled day off. Go ahead and send them a note from me. Take the rest of the day off and join us here, or stay right here with us, because one of the best races in any form you're going to see, the Freedom 100 in Indy Lights, is coming up. Then the party really gets going with a pit stop competition, music, a DJ, everything else happening. Here we'll have concerts, and then we continue to get you set for the biggest day in motorsports with our NASCAR America Motorsports Special. More reports. Marty Snyder and Townsend will anchor our coverage from here. Several specials, including one on Will Power. Robin visits with AJ in the museum. That's all coming up. Then reports from Monaco and Charlotte as well coming up. So stay with us all day here on NBCSN.
Looking at one of the monitors here, they've got an extra 5 minutes of practice, Townsend, but I'm looking. That engine blew up about 100 yards short of turn 3, and it is right on the line. And all the way through the corner, there's oil dry. So you see all that oil dry, and where the oil has been, that is a worst case scenario, really. So I would be surprised if anybody really wants to venture out onto that.
I think what teams are going to do here is take advantage of these 5 minutes to just do hot pit stop practice. Just go out, in. You might even use the apron if need be to avoid that oil dry, or just run high. Track's probably pretty clean on the high line. You can run around it, but I certainly wouldn't want to be the first few cars out and go figure out what kind of grip that oil dry has.
Marty reported at the top of the show that the Hondas were asking their teams to keep it below 40 laps. No one's done that for either power plant. Charlie Kimball, though, has the most at 36 laps complete so far. Most are somewhere in the 20s. The green is back out, and we have just under 5 minutes remaining in this final tune-up before the Indianapolis 500.
Looks like J.R. Hildebrand will be the guinea pig there, getting out of pit lane first, so he'll go down the back straightaway, work up to speed, and hit that cleanup for the first time entering turn 3.
Hildebrand has been strong all month. You talked earlier about what Ed Carpenter been able to do better than the Penskes. Well, it's Ed. He's really good. We know he's won the pole 2 times, but they have a good setup and a good program. And watch J.R. Hildebrand go through that oil dry.
That is dirty. Oh wow! I'm shocked at how much residual material is on the racetrack, Paul. The jet dryer, I don't think, ran there.
Nobody going very fast, and it doesn't look like the jet dryer or the sweeper tried to clean it up very much, as we see everybody come off at 3 and through 4 and try to re-accelerate, but it looked like everybody was on the brakes through there. Nobody dove for the pit lane.
JR did, but most of these guys are staying out. You see Fernando Alonso
make a pass, yeah. So he's going to be the first guy around again at speed. So he'll be up to speed now. We'll see if he carries it through here.
You guys haven't been here all month, but he has no fear in practice. He has mixed it up. He split cars in practice before. He has been fun to watch.
Watch what he does. He turns in. There's one car way up the line there, but you see right there, and he's trying to high line around it, which is a smart move.
There's a nice measure of respect for the facility. One thing about Alonso that everybody tells me is not only is he focused, he's incredibly intelligent. He's combing through every bit of information he can get his hands on. He's watched so many races with Gilles de Ferran from years past, the two of them sitting down, going through every possible eventuality they can see, or even those that they don't see, to be as best prepared as he can be on race day.
Making a move on James Davidson there. It's smart of James to just tuck in here and sit on the draft, and now he has to turn in on that line as he cuts back across the nose of James.
How'd you like to be Dale Coyne right now, watching your replacement car tiptoe through the oil dry in turn 3? Davison is doing a nice job. Now he's going to suck back up, and the track should be just about clean at this point.
Last lap was 2:04. This lap for Alonso with 2:14, so fair ways off the pace that they've been running in the mid-220s. But like I said, James Davidson tucking in on the back here. He's going to get a little run right here.
A little bit of a rub from the bottom of the car there on Davison. They work down the back straightaway. Now what happens, Paul? Side by side, going into the corner. Who wants it? Davison.
You heard the lift from Alonso.
We'll see what this next lap around, guys, right now are running in the 2:14, 2:16 range. Another pass back. He said he used the draft, comes by James Davidson again in that lap, 2:16.8. So speed's creeping up a little bit more, but
you know, we talk so much about qualifying, and obviously you want to start up front as much as you can to stay out of trouble, manage the race, but the last 5 winners have started outside the top 10. It's been since 2010 when Dario won that we've had a winner start from the front row. The last pole sitter, Helio in 09. Dixon also, his win came from the pole in 08.
Look at Helio's making, got a pole right here.
Here comes
This
Serbia.
could be a big lap. Is that Serbia?
That's
He hasn't
Serbia.
run much at all during practice. Serbia was way down the list, barely any laps.
He's pretty happy. I talked with him yesterday. He thinks he's where they need to be, all things considered, with a one-off type of situation, although he is planning on running at Detroit as well.
Serbia with that lap just jumped to a 2:23 to 16th, so the fastest guy on the track right now in these conditions.
Serbia is one of those drivers that's really willing to explore uncharted track space late in the race. I remember a few years ago, he was the first one to go up high on the last 20 laps, start working the high line, making passes. A great racer, really strong at protecting the equipment, making smart decisions, and that's why he's earned this opportunity to come back with Rahal. Checkered flag falls on the final practice, Kevin, here at Indianapolis, and hopefully all the drivers got the information they need for race day.
A virtual incident-free, no contact. We did have the engine expire, another Honda for James Hinchcliffe. So now we wait and we ready ourselves for the greatest spectacle in racing, the fastest in this final tune-up. Helio Castroneves, can he become a 4-time winner? One of the many storylines this Sunday in what I think is once again going to be a highly entertaining race.
I think you'll see a lot of wheel-to-wheel, side-by-side action down in turns 1 and turns 3, Paul. A lot of cars look very strong in race trim. A lot of drivers feel like they have the weapon to contend on race day. That forces issues at the end of these long straightaways.
I think you're going to see a lot of side-by-side action in 1, 2, 3, and 4. Guys are getting racy, making moves on the short chute, and making passes in 2 and 4, so it's going to be a great race.
Well, there is now the championship leader with bonus points, 42 of them, almost a full race for winning the poles. Can Scott Dixon win for the second time? We will find out coming up at 12:20 Eastern when the 101st Indianapolis 500 begins on Sunday. And we have plenty more to come. Introductions are underway. Don't forget the pit stop competition later today. And one of the most entertaining races you'll see is coming up next.
Far wide to the start-finish line. Peter Dempsey has won the Firestone Freedom 100.
Side by side at the line, it is Gabby Chavez. Get your cameras ready for another photo finish.
Stoneman gets him at the line. 24 ten-thousandths of a second.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute to society. Any idiot with a gun can pull a job. My boys never understood that.
Animal Kingdom. Watch anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
Look closely. Hidden in every swing, every chip, and every putt is data that can make the difference between winning and losing. The Microsoft Cloud helps the PGA Tour turn countless points of data into insights that transform their business and will enhance the game for players and fans.
The Microsoft Cloud turns information into insight.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a Grizzly. And But if I'm going to go on about how the 100% ever soft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, yeah, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo.
The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft team. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
Come on, please miss this. Please miss this.
Down to a free throw.
What is this?
It's a voodoo doll. You know, it's a big shot.
Voodoo doll.
Right, yeah. Okay, got his arm.
Oh, no. It's a miss, but, oh, man.
Put it back. Put it back.
What is that? His hip? His pelvis?
I'm just trying to
Well, then he at least needs to be symmetrical.
We could have a bit of a delay, but we'll be back with overtime.
Indianapolis, the racing capital of the world. Place racers dream about. Those dreams are about to be realized today as Indy Lights drivers take to the famed oval for the Freedom 100. A race that's produced the closest finish ever at this track.
Side by side, Ed Jones needs Stoneman to the outside. They'll drag race. Stoneman gets him at the line. Stoneman grabs the win of the Freedom 100 by inches.
Young guns like Herta and Jameen look to make their mark. Veterans Kaiser and Urrutia hope to put their names in the history books. Indy Lights at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Freedom 100 is next. Well, the party is just getting started. The pit stop competition with IndyCar is coming up, but this might be the meat of the day. One of the highlights, if not the highlights, of Carb Day. It's the Indy Lights Freedom 100, one of the greatest races traditionally in the last few years that you will see in any category. Thanks for joining us at the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm Kevin Lee, along with former Indy Lights driver Anders Krohn. You're not going to see in any category any race better than this one. Why has this race been so good the last few years?
Well, first things first, I mean, you have to look at the drivers. All of them are so motivated to catapult themselves into an Indy 500 ride. It's where Ed Carpenter won in 2003. It's where Joseph Newgarden won in 2011 to catapult him into the Verizon IndyCar Series. So every driver knows, if I'm going to be an Indy 500 legend, I have to start here.
And the crowd is massive. Maybe 100,000 last year. I haven't counted yet today, but I'm sure it's something similar as well. So from a driver's perspective, you're looking for exposure. What's the feeling when you have this kind of stage? Keep in mind, there's probably only a handful of races in America that have a bigger crowd than this one.
Yeah, and it's all about pressure. I mean, it's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Every single lap, you're crossing the yard of bricks all the way back to 1911 and Ray Haroon. There's so much history going on here, and look at this massive crowd.
Well, we will continue to follow the storylines and talk about who has the best opportunity. But first, let's go down to the grid and check in with Katie Harden.
And Kevin Matthias Lay scored his very first podium in the GP here just a few weeks ago. Now, his very first pole here on the oval. Matthias, what started clicking here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for you?
Yeah, here is just amazing, you know. It was always a dream for me to compete here and race here. And I'm very, very happy that I managed to get my first podium here and now my first pole ever in the United States. So, yeah, looking forward for this amazing race that we are going to have now.
And the last 3 of the 4 races here have ended in without just a few hundredths of a second between first and second. Have you started thinking about a strategy for the end of the race?
It's difficult to know. It depends where we are going to be, you know. So, yeah, it's all about the last lap and hoping the front, maybe first or second, the last lap to take the win.
And Jan is over with the guy starting right next to him.
Yes, and that has a nice ring to it. The front row at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for Colton Herta. And I know you wanted to get the pole, but the front row, obviously, with the way this race is so competitive. And I know you're happy to be ahead of your championship rivals. What's the strategy today?
Yeah, just like you said, we wanted a good qualifying, but it's not super important here because you can race from anywhere on the grid. And, yeah, we qualified way ahead of our championship rivals, so again, another plus, and we're looking like we're going to have a strong race car.
Now, I don't know if you've been watching the monitors, but in that last practice session for Carb Day, there's a lot of oil dry now after an engine expired in turn 3. With your cars, can you run high around that at the start without too much of an issue?
Yeah, that won't be a problem. But you know, the Homalcho safety crew does such a good job cleaning everything up, so I don't think it'll be too busy down there.
What has your dad, who's a master strategist at winning this race, told you about your strategy today?
Just keep your head down. You know, you're obviously not going to win it the first 39 laps. You got to be there in the last one, so that's what I'm going to do.
All right, well, he's looking for his third win of the season for Colton Herta.
He's just recently turned 17 years old, won a race at 16, and I talked to him yesterday. He said, yep, I'm ready to go to IndyCar next year if I can win that championship. He is third in the championship, and to go to IndyCar next year if I can win that championship. He is third in the championship, and his closest rivals are starting a little further back.
They are, but look at Kyle Kaiser, a story of straight-up consistency so far this year, but such a strong crop of rookies. Aaron Teelitz, Matthias Laced as well on the pole here today. It's a great day at Indy.
The grid is assembled. We're not far away from getting started, but first, opening ceremonies. Let's go trackside here at Indianapolis.
Let's pray together. Our gracious and loving Father, we thank you for the gift of this beautiful day that you've given us, and for the gift of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior. On this Memorial Day weekend, we thank you for those who've served valiantly to protect our great nation and even made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you for the men and women currently serving, many in harm's way, to preserve our freedom. On all the drivers, the crew, and the spectators. And may God bless America and keep her strong and free. These graces we pray in your name. Amen.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the mother of the driver of number 51, Shelby Blackstock, Reba McEntire.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Great to have country music superstar actress Reba McEntire, who's at most of these races throughout the Mazda Road to Indy. Following there's her son Shelby Blackstock, who was strong here last year and will be a factor in this race once again. It's a great day in Indianapolis, the biggest weekend in motorsport. I'm Kevin Lee, Anders Crone, and this is John Doonan. He's one of the guys that's responsible for what we're seeing in the Mazda Road to Indy. He's the director of motorsports for Mazda North America. John, this is like Christmas Eve for us, but it's Christmas Day for Indy Lights and their big event.
Absolutely, Kevin. I pulled through the tunnel this morning, and I was 7 years old when I first rolled through there, and I got the same goosebumps this morning. And to be part of this for the Mazda brand it's hard to describe how special it is.
24 of the 33 starters in the Indianapolis 500 have competed in Indy Lights. 25 have driven a Mazda-powered car. Simon Pagenaud was in the Mazda program going back. How proud does that make you feel?
It's absolutely amazing, and you had a team like Juncos Racing who's now made the jump up. It's just tremendous. It's validation that our investment in this program means something to the sport. And several weeks ago, someone asked me when Mazda was going to be in the Indy 500. And I had a brief pause, and I said, we already are. And this talent and for our brand to be part of this event and be able to bring that next generation of driver is really special. Our brand is about the love of driving and the joy that people get from their experience with a Mazda. And I saw a lot of smiling faces in the drivers' meeting this morning, and we're proud to have a bunch of Mazdas coming down the front straightaway here shortly.
Stay here, John. We may check with you in just a moment. But speaking of Mazda Road to Indy graduates, I think Katie has found one.
Yeah, and one of their products is Spencer Pigot. Spencer, this race always provides some great entertainment for fans. Do you kind of miss it and wish you were in it?
Absolutely. I always I enjoyed it when I was in it, and I always enjoy watching it. But it's kind of hard to say I'd rather be in that versus the Indy 500. Obviously, very happy to be in the big race with Hinchcliffe Racing, and really can safely say I wouldn't have been here without Indy Lights and the whole Mazda Road to Indy.
And he has to go, guys, because he's driving the new Pro Mazda car to start this race.
Yeah, that's going to pace the field. We've got a new car for USF 2000 this year. John, explain what we're going to see next year competing for Pro Mazda.
Well, the beauty of the Mazda Road to Indy from a driving standpoint and a training standpoint is we've got different levels of car from an aerodynamic standpoint, from a power standpoint, to really prepare the next generation of talent for the Verizon IndyCar Series. We have the new Tatis chassis, the Pro Mazda for 2018, which is the same tub, essentially, as the USF 2000 car that we run this year. So a little bit more Mazda power in the back, a little bit more aero, a little more tire, as a proper training level for the Verizon IndyCar Series.
And as a former driver in the Mazda Road to Indy, I can speak to it because I used to race in Europe, and it's such a disjointed category system over there where it's basically you run in this category for 1 year, another one, but there's no straight path to the top in racing. And I think that's the beauty of the Mazda Road to Indy is there's a clearly defined path from USF 2000 to Pro Mazda, Indy Lights, and then the Verizon IndyCar Series. But I mean, John, how do you guys get involved with all these drivers, and then how do you use them kind of as they climb their way to the top of the ladder?
Well, what we've tried to do is create the complete package in these drivers. We do things around public relations and media relations. We do things around the business of motorsport and marketing and corporate partnerships. We certainly do things on the engineering side and the fitness side. So it's about creating the complete package. These are future athletes and stars of motorsport. We steal a few of them occasionally for our sports car program. We steal Spencer Pigot for events. We stole Hinchcliffe for Daytona as well. So for us, again, Mazda's investment in the sport, there's nothing like the Mazda Road to Indy in the world. We're really proud to be able to provide this to the young talent from all over the world, and you see that with drivers coming from other countries because there is a defined path for their career in a Mazda in the Mazda Road to Indy.
Well, John, on behalf of motorsports fans and those that are trying to work their way up to IndyCar, thank you for all you do. Enjoy this event and enjoy the 500 on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
John Doonan from Mazda. Well, one of the traditions now we're building, it's the second year. We start the month, and Anders Krohn has been heavily involved with the Horsepower 500 with TheraPlay. Tell us what we're doing here.
Well, the Children's TheraPlay Foundation is a foundation for children of 18 months to 13 years of age that have been dealt a bad card in life. And so we wanted to bring the month of May to the TheraPlay Foundation, which is in Carmel, Indiana. So we took all these Indy 500 drivers and yourself and Katie out on some trikes and raced up and down the track to crown the Horsepower 500 champion, and it was a great event this year. Over 600 people showed up to this year's event, so thank you so much for being there, Kevin, and I know you didn't win it, but I hope you still had a good time.
Well, I believe I had some aero issues, I think was the issue, but it was a lot of fun. Jay Howard won the event, making his return to competition. There's Stephen Wilson. Tony Stewart was kind enough to come out and spend the entire day and pose for pictures and sign autographs. It was a lot of fun, great work for everything that you and your group are doing. Well, the drivers are getting prepared to strap in, and one of the great races of the year is coming up. Stay with us from Indianapolis.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute
Animal Kingdom. Watch anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
What if technology gave us the power to turn this enemy into an ally?
Microsoft and its partners are using smart traps to capture mosquitoes and sequence their DNA to fight disease. There are over 100 million pieces of DNA in every sample. With the Microsoft Cloud, we can analyze the data faster than ever before. If we can detect new viruses before they spread, we may someday prevent outbreaks before they begin.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how the 100% Eversoft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, yeah, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo.
The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
You never thought the price of a laundry upgrade could be so low, or saving on a refrigerator could give you chills. With Memorial Day savings, never say never. Get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 40% on major appliances like this LG laundry pair. Only at the Home Depot.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We shall see. They've been running side by side in practice throughout the week, and that finished last year the closest in any event here at IMS.
And this just tells the tale of the Freedom 100, doesn't it? Less than 1/100th of a second here for 3 years, 2016, 13, and 14, and I expect no less here. We have so many strong teams and drivers here. I especially look to Andretti Autosport, who have been so strong this year with kind of a revamped engineering and driver lineup, and that seems to have really helped them. They've qualified up front. Ryan Norman here qualified 4th. What a great qualifier for him.
It is a deep field. We've talked about the number of drivers that legitimately had a chance at the championship coming in. We're probably 10 deep. We could roll off at least 10 guys, and it wouldn't surprise us who's going to win this race. You have inexperienced guys on ovals starting up front, more experienced championship leaders a little further back. We shall see. Drivers are strapped in. We're about ready. Let's go downstairs for the command.
Oh, the sweet sound.
Dan Anderson Promotions, the owners and operators of the Mazda Road to Indy, including Indy Lights, getting us started here today at Indianapolis. 14 young drivers hoping to drive in the Indianapolis 500 as soon as next year are ready. This is the top step of the Mazda Road to Indy. The winner of the championship wins over a $1 million scholarship to take to a budget to a team for the 500 and at least 2 other IndyCar races in 2018.
And of course, last year's champion Ed Jones has done a terrific job with Dale Coyne Racing this year in his Verizon IndyCar Series debut. He's had several top 10s already and obviously qualified just so well for the 101st running of the Indy 500, almost cracking into that top 9.
Pace laps are underway. And here's how they will line up for the 15th Freedom 100, winning the pole in his first oval start. Matthias Leist. Colton Herta actually almost spun on his outlap. They go straight out on the track. He had got through the grass and ended up on the warm-up lane. He said that cost him on his first lap. So watch Colton Herta. He is going to be fast. And then in row 2, you have 2 drivers from Andretti Autosports with their best starts this season.
Dalton Kellett and Ryan Norman both showing so well. They've looked really, really handy in traffic as well. So I think that they're going to be strong throughout the running of this race.
In row 3, Zachary Clayman DeMello also making his best start of 2017. And Aaron Telitz, who won the opener and has gone through some issues here recently, but he has won an oval race at Lucas Oil Raceway at USF 2000.
He has, and he's going to be strong. He's representing Mazda in those soul red colors. He won the Pro Mazda Championship last year, has always been a front runner, and making his Freedom 100 debut here.
In row number 4, Neil Alberico and Garth Rickards. Alberico said he feels pretty comfortable. Second-year driver experience is so important here. And Shelby Blackstock ran in that lead pack last year. And so did Juan Piedrahita. He was second going to the final restart. The points leader, the championship leader, Kyle Kaiser, and last year's runner-up, Santi Urrutia, all the way back in row number 6. Nico Jameen has won a couple of times this year. So we've got a lot of depth through this field and some guys we think can get to the front starting in the back. Our onboard is with Nico Jameen, the Frenchman with Andretti Autosports, 21 years old. He won on the road course here, the first of 2 this month as part of the IndyCar GP weekend. All right, it's time to find out what needs to happen. The keys to this race, here's Anders Insider.
Well, Kevin, the Freedom 100 is all about one thing and one thing only. Forget about the championship. None of these drivers care about the points today. The only thing they care about is getting this big win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's a 40-lap race. It's the longest race on the Indy Lights calendar, so these guys want to conserve their equipment throughout the course of this race to make sure that they can be there on the final 10 to 5 laps. Now, leading up to this week, it's been such tough conditions. There's been wind, there's been rain, and today is actually the only nice day with no wind whatsoever. So I think all of these guys don't know exactly what they have underneath them as far as the car setup is concerned. So let's pay attention to who's got it right and who hasn't.
Well, we were concerned about the weather for this day all week, but once again, they've cooperated. It's perfect, sunny in 74. They're starting to get lined up, and we're about ready to go for what we think is one of the best, if not the best race you will see all year long.
I can absolutely attest to that. I did this race back in 2011, and it is the single coolest race you can be part of, shy of doing the Indy 500, that is.
The darker blue car on the inside is Matthias Leist, the white and blue car with Andretti and a partnership with the Steinbrenner family. George Michael Steinbrenner IV on the outside. That's Telitz taking a peek already to the outside, and it's go time in Indianapolis for Indy Lights. The Freedom 100 is green. Clayman DeMello in the 13 blue car peeks to the outside. They sweep around Colton Herta. Dalton Kellett going side by side for that third position with his teammate. But up front, it's the pole sitter. Matthias Leist gets the early jump.
Oh, we have contact.
Herta spins. And he collects his teammate Ryan Norman.
Oh, Colton Herta just up on the high side entering turn 2, then turned down. And unfortunately, it was a car on the inside there, and that clipped him and spun him right around. We already see Colton Herta moving around in that car. That's a good sign. That was a pretty big hit there, Kev.
And Ryan Norman had his best start of his rookie season in Indy Lights, and nothing he could do. After Herta spins, he's simply a casualty. 2 quick cars are out. Herta was over 200 miles per hour in practice. As I mentioned, he might have been the quickest, making really his first oval start. He said, I'm not sure that Lucas Oil Raceway USF 2000 provided any kind of similar experience. And, Dalton Kellett was on his inside there. Did they make any contact?
They did, and Colton Herta just turned down on Dalton Kellett, so I'm not sure if maybe that's the spotter told him he was clear and he tried to turn down, or if he was just trying to squeeze Dalton Kellett down onto the apron. But either way, we were talking about conservation of equipment. That's something you don't want to do on the opening lap. You can't be that aggressive early on.
And then watch, too, as Norman slides down. He almost took Shelby Blackstock with him, but I think he missed him. We'll see if Kellett has any kind of damage. Norman getting collected. Norman coming down, and 3 cars barely miss him. Piedrahita in the yellow car. The 11 car is Garth Rickards. The red car, Shelby Blackstock.
Talk about a save for Dalton Kellett. I mean, he was sideways swelling, just managed to correct that, and then went to the high side of Colton Herta. But a big hit here for Ryan Norman as we see the slow-mo up on the top of our screen here.
So just like that, the field dwindles to 12. A little further back, we're going to get a nice vantage point from Nico Jamin, who started in the last row. This is his onboard.
So lucky not to get caught up in all this stuff. You see carbon fiber pieces flying all over the track, but that was a smart move there for Nico Jamin. His spotter would have been at the top of the track there telling him to just go down low, and we see Colton Herta's dad here, Brian Herta, and Michael Andretti in the background, not happy with this at all. It's been a disastrous month of May for Colton Herta. I mean, he's been so quick to start the season, got a win in St. Petersburg, looked so strong as well at Barber, and then Indianapolis happened, and it's been cruel, hasn't it?
Mechanical issues in the GP, 12th and 10th, and a DNF here in the Freedom 100. So we're under yellow almost as soon as we get started. A restart is coming up from Indy.
Since I came to know you, yeah, I've been telling you how to feel. I've been telling you how to feel. Please tell me how. You look so good, fantastic man.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
What if technology gave us the power to turn this enemy into an ally?
Microsoft and its partners are using smart traps to capture mosquitoes and sequence their DNA to fight disease. There are over 100 million pieces of DNA in every sample. With the Microsoft Cloud, we can analyze the data faster than ever before. If we can detect new viruses before they spread, we may someday prevent outbreaks before they begin.
What makes Wendy's Baconator different? While other guys use frozen beef from far away, Wendy's only serves fresh beef from ranches close by.
So we don't have to freeze it.
Add 6 strips of thick Applewood smoked bacon, and Wendy's Baconator isn't just different, it's deliciously different.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how the 100% Eversoft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo.
The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
You never thought the price of a laundry upgrade could be so low, or saving on a refrigerator could give you chills. With Memorial Day savings, never say never. Get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 40% on major appliances like the Samsung Black Stainless Suite only at the Home Depot.
Our nation's capital.
hosts Senior Golf's most storied major, the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship. Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Golf Channel.
It's Carb Day in Indianapolis. Everyone is excused from any productivity today. Take the rest of the day off. Indianapolis has joined us today for the final IndyCar practice and the biggest race of the year, the top step of the Mazda Road to Indy, the Freedom 100 for Indy Lights. But as soon as we went green, yellow, Colton Herta coming down a little bit on his teammate, it appears, Dalton Kellett. He loses it, takes another teammate, Ryan Norman, in that orange and black car trailing behind. All right, to pit road, let's talk with one of the principals of the Andretti Autosport IndyCar team and the dad of one of the drivers affected. Katie?
And Kevin, we're used to talking to Brian during some positive situations like Colton's 2 wins, but Brian, what do you think happened in that incident? What was Colton thinking, maybe?
Well, I don't know that I can say what Colton's thinking, but it's a shame because he had a great car, obviously. He's out of the race. Ryan Norman's out of the race. He had a great car. Just looking at it just on the replay, it looks like maybe he didn't know that Dalton was still on the inside of him there. I don't know if the spotter was talking to him. It's just not, it's not how you want to start the race here, and it's a long race, and unfortunately he's out early.
And this is a really hard track to spot at. Were you listening to the radio?
No, I'm not on the headset, so I only see now just what you guys have looked at. And like I said, just looked like he didn't know Dalton was still down there. But better to ask him what he thought. I'm just glad everybody's okay.
What will you say to him to pick his spirits back up?
Get ready for the next one.
Thanks, Brian.
I know that's one of the things that Brian has been telling Colton is you've had bad luck, but at least you've been quick. That's something as a development series you want to see. All right, we're going to go and get ready to restart in just a moment, so we'll stand by for that, and it's 1 to go at the line. Matheus Leist managed the lead. These are his first laps led in Indy Lights. And we welcome in the booth, and we'll chat with him after we get going in this restart more extensively. Last year's runner-up, IndyCar rookie Ed Jones from Dale Coyne Racing is with us, and former mechanic and engineer, and now journalist with Racer Magazine and Racer.com. Marshall Pruitt is with us too. Ed, thanks for joining us. You ready for this perspective? You may see how crazy you guys are.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and I remember last year this was the biggest race I'd done in my junior career. The atmosphere, going on the formation lap, seeing the massive crowds, it's the first time, and I just wish I could do it again as well.
Marshall, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting Leist to really impress. His straight line speed has been something. Zachary Cleveland DeMello, I'll tell you, he's someone who wasn't on my radar for a big Freedom 100 standout performance. I am wrong.
Matheus Leist is just 18 years old. He's living in Miami now. He said he's feeling more at home. That's more similar to Brazil than when he lived in England.
Yeah, but I think speaking of Matheus Leist, he was so impressive when he first came over to the U.S. and did his first oval test at Homestead Miami Speedway. And I think it's very much, and Ed, you can speak to this, it's very much one of those things where as soon as you get to an oval, you either absolutely love it or you're going to hate it, and clearly he loves it.
Yeah, exactly. The first time I went to Homestead, actually, I found it quite tough, because it was Carlin's first time on the oval as well. So we didn't quite have the car right, and it was my first time, so everything was learning. Whereas now, we built a solid car with Carlin, and I guess the first time out, he did a really good job, and you can see now at the Freedom 100, they're 1-2.
Yeah, that's your former team, Carlin Racing. The teammates are running up front with Leist and Clayman DeMello. Dalton Kellett still running in third. Neil Alberico, another Carlin car, is in fourth position. Then it's Aaron Telitz back there in the Soul Red car. The yellow car is Juan Piedrahita. Garth Rickards is in seventh. Lined up, single file restart is coming as they roll through the north end of the racetrack, come back on the main straightaway. Leist will control this restart, working on lap number 5, and we are green again in Indianapolis. Here we go in the Freedom 100.
See if he manages to hold that lead into turn 1. It looks like he does. Great restart for him, but side by side with Dalton Kellett and Neil Alberico going through 1.
Alberico to the high side, gets a spot past Kellett. Alberico moves into third, and it's 1, 2, 3 for Carlin Racing.
And Matheus Leist is just gone. The other guys can't even stay in his draft.
Can you set up the car, Marshall, a little bit differently when you start up front and think you might stay up front?
Not only that, these tires have a slight change from last year, Kevin. Same spring rate, but they'll be looking at tire degradation. We've seen so far the Carlin cars appear to have gotten these tires perfect. Be interesting to see if some of the other teams can move forward, though.
That gold car, similar to James Hinchcliffe's paid scheme, same sponsorship with Schmidt-Peterson and with Bilardi now, is Santi Urrutia, who had a very, again, disappointing qualifying session. Let's see what he can do as he makes a move back in the pack.
Yeah, I spoke to him a little bit earlier, and he said he's got a great race car. Not one that he could qualify well with, which clearly showed on the timesheets, but he feels like he can place his car anywhere, and that's being shown here. Look at how high of a line he's running through turn 2 there, just getting clean air on those wings, getting no turbulent air whatsoever.
Dalton Kellett in that turquoise car, going to the outside and making a move on Alberico. They're going to stay side by side through the corner. Kellett gets the spot.
Got to be careful not to bind each other up too much, because if you run too long side by side, you're going to be holding yourselves up there. But Dalton Kellett, he's got something here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He got his first ever Indy Lights podium here last year, and again, he's running so well.
And now Thielett's looking to the outside of Alberico. Piedrahita in the yellow car is lurking behind. Ed, you can't do this in IndyCar. What's it like going on the high side through a corner in the lights car?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, obviously last year coming to the finish, we were side by side the whole way around 3 and 4. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun doing it. It's interesting to see how the race is panning out at the moment. It looks like, similar to last year, the Carlin guys, we were really strong early on in the race. But I think the ones to look out for are Kellett and the Andretti car, they came on really strong. And also the Pelfrey car and Piedrahita. I remember last year, the first half of the race, they were a bit behind, and then all of a sudden, towards the end, they made a big charge. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they get on.
Piedrahita working on Alberico. Side by side as they go into one, and this time Alberico is not going to cede the position, and he's going to scoot back in front. Tire management, part of the storyline. How much does it impact the Cooper tires if you spend a lot of time on the high line going side by side?
Yeah, obviously the tyres are different this year, but we have to try and not do it too much, because you're starting to wear them out quicker. I was quite fortunate for most of the races running first and second, so we're kind of trying to stay in that position, whereas these guys trying to move forward, it makes it a bit more wearing on the tyres, and they might struggle towards the end of the race.
As we watch Santi Urrutia, Marshall, any idea from when you've talked to Brian Bilardi or the team, this is one of the surprises. Now, he has had some bad luck, he's been collected, but they haven't quite had the pace that we expected for the team or for him.
Keep in mind, he's coming off the dominant Sam Schmidt team, the Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports team, one that's just rolled through Indy Lights for many years. You go from a near championship, last lap, almost final corners last year to heartbreak, had to switch teams. This is getting to know new people. This is getting to build on something brand new.
Now, Marshall, you're a bit of a historian. You know, I'm looking at Mateus laced up front, and I'm thinking of one other Indy Lights driver that used to dominate this race, not just once, not twice, but 3 times, and that's Wade Cunningham.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to get Mateus a really interesting cat to go with Wade's collection. But one of the interesting things here, guys, and I definitely know you're looking at this too, some are being aggressive. We're watching Aaron Thielitz, for example. He's pushing really hard in the beginning. You'd love to see that fighting spirit, but you're also wondering, should his spotters, should his engineers be saying, all right, now's not the time. We don't need to see these big moves on the steering wheel, these hard passes. Take it easy and breathe. We're getting close to that point where we're going to start pushing hard.
Anders, where do you feel like you want to run? And Ed, jump on this too. Where do you want to be at this point in the race, taking everything else into consideration?
Well, you really just want clean air on your wings. That means that you have a lot of aero on your car, and we see Aaron Thielitz here trying to find some clean air down the bottom of the racetrack. But yeah, you want to be in as much clean air as absolutely possible, just to keep the tires underneath you.
All right, there we see Colton Herta and Ryan Norman back by the Care Center, and Jan Beekes is with them.
Yes, they've both been released. We'll start with Colton, and I see you've got some ice here on your wrist. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I took a little x-ray, but it was no problem. So,
were you aware that there was a car underneath you? Did your spotter tell you whether you were clear or whether there was something there?
Yeah, no, I saw him, but I don't really know what happened. I'll have to look at the data and look at the video.
So it was Dalton Kellett, I believe, and there was actual contact that spun you, correct?
Yeah.
So other than this, you're A-okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, sorry you're out early. And Ryan, you obviously took a brunt of the no place you could go. Physically okay?
Yeah, I'm physically fine, just really disappointed. It was our highest starting position of the year, so it kind of sucks, but was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Just Colton's car was kind of coming up, and I was pinched into the wall and had nowhere to go. But just want to thank Andretti Autosport. They had a great car this whole entire month so far, so I guess we'll just come back stronger at Road America.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jan. Ryan Norman, a 19-year-old from Ohio, as he said, had a great opportunity. Not going to happen for him here today. Well, this is the first oval for Matheus Leist, and he's cruising in a battle for second now as Dalton Kellett goes to the low line, and he'll get the spot on Zach Clayman DeMello.
Beautiful move there for Dalton Kellett, and this is where he came alive in last year's race as well, towards the tail end of it. It took him a few laps to figure it all out, but I think he's got a good ear there in Mike Reggio, who's his head engineer, is probably telling him exactly what to do with the weight jackers and bars.
It's starting to get good. We'll keep an eye on Aaron Telitz, and can Dalton Kellett chase down the leader? Stay with us for the Freedom 100 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute to society. Any idiot with a gun can pull a job. I've always never understood that.
Animal Kingdom. Watch anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
What if technology gave us the power to turn this enemy into an ally?
Microsoft and its partners are using smart traps to capture mosquitoes and sequence their DNA to fight disease. There are over 100 million pieces of DNA in every sample. With the Microsoft Cloud, we can analyze the data faster than ever before. If we can detect new viruses before they spread, we may someday prevent outbreaks before they begin.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how the 100% Eversoft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, yeah, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo. The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
Wendy's Double Stack is still an option in the 4for$4. With a quarter pound of fresh beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. Like how owls shouldn't be able to turn their heads all the way around.
Whew, wouldn't like that deal.
The Double Stack and the 4for$4. A deal so great, it's impossibly good, but not for long.
You never thought the price of a laundry upgrade could be so low, or saving on a refrigerator can give you chills. With Memorial Day savings, never say never. Get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 40% on major appliances like this LG laundry pair, only at the Home Depot.
This summer, the future of Team USA takes their first steps toward the Tokyo 2020 Games. The Team USA Summer Champion Series, presented by Comcast, continues Friday, June 23rd on NBC-SN.
Carb Day continues from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is the Indy Lights Freedom 100. I'm Kevin Lee, Anders Krohn, Ed Jones, Marshall Pruitt, Katie Hargett, and Jan Beekes on pit road. Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy, and Marty Snyder will be back along with Robin Mill a little bit later on. Matheus Leist started from the pole. He has led all 16 laps. Dalton Kellett is running in second. Aaron Telitz has worked his way up to third. Then it's Neil Alberico, and Zach Clayman DeMello has fallen from second to fifth. This is a great run so far for Dalton Kellett. His second year. Last year he finished third in this race. This is not a big surprise.
It's not, and he's really come alive here on the ovals. He's done so well here. At the moment, he's looking like he's got the strongest car. Matheus Leist, by far and away the quickest early on in this race, but now just looking at the cars, the lines that Dalton Kellett's able to take there up on the high side, that shows he's got a good car. And Aaron Telitz as well, right on the gearbox of Dalton.
Darren Manning has spent a lot of time, the former IndyCar driver, working with Dalton Kellett, coaching him up, and he's made really good progress as he continues to go through. And then as we go a little further back, you have to go way back. Look for that green and white car. That's the championship leader. Kyle Kaiser did not qualify well and has not made much progress in the race. Ninth. What's going on with Juncos, Marshall?
They're off by just a couple miles an hour. It doesn't take much, and as you guys know, here with these spec cars, you really have to be absolutely perfect.
And here's a battle for second as Aaron Telitz goes around the outside in the Soul Red car. The Pro Mazda champion last year has taken over second in the Freedom 100, and he's scooting away.
Beautiful move there, and that's so unnerving for Dalton Kellett, because as soon as Aaron Telitz crosses over the front end of Dalton Kellett, he's going to lose all that clean air. So Aaron Telitz nicely done there into turn 3 and is now chasing down Matthias Leist.
Just like that, we're just about halfway through this Freedom 100, a sprint race, no planned pit stops. Manage the tires. It's a long stint. Keep in mind the IndyCar drivers only go 28 to 32 laps in a stint, so the Cooper tires are asked to do a little bit more.
But I was actually talking with someone yesterday that I wonder if someone running towards the back of the field, if we were to get a full course caution here, would they come in for 4 new tires and try and charge through the field? What do you think, Marshall?
I love your line of thinking, Anders. I would absolutely do that. At this point, the only thing to do here is to win the Freedom 100. Second doesn't matter. We don't remember who finishes second. These kids need to win, so I love that idea. What's interesting watching here, though, we started off with a Carlin Armada, 1, 2, 3 up front. We've seen that pack break up. We've seen Matthias Leist stay there.
Anders and Ed take us around on board with Nico Jamin.
Yeah, so he looks like he's turned in a little bit early there. The car looks like it's got a lot of push, which is making it more difficult. I think that's why it seems like he's struggling to get onto the car in front there, because he's having to turn a lot in the middle of the corner, which is scrubbing the car and slowing you down. And like he's just made an adjustment on his front bar, so we'll see if that helps.
Yeah, just like Ed said, he's got a lot of understeer. Not so much in turn 3, but turn 2 was absolutely massive understeer, and that's something you cannot have here at the Freedom 100. And looking at Aaron Telitz now, he's right up the back of Matthias Leist.
Leist is in that blue car with the orange mirrors, the number 26 for Carlin, the Soul Red, which designates a champion in the Mazda program. He has the scholarship money to move up to Indy Lights this year. The number 9 is Aaron Telitz, and he's within reach now. Matthias Leist.
Just conserve your tires here, Aaron. You still have 18 laps to go in this race, and that's a long way to go still. Needs to keep track of those tires. Do not want to be too aggressive here.
It seemed like people that so a few of the guys have been able to catch up to Leist, but then they've really struggled to get to pass them, and then it seems after a few laps they started to drop back, so it'll be interesting to see if Telitz can get past them.
This was a couple of laps ago. Go back to this and let's see if Leist hit some debris there. He got something right on the tire.
That's not just a little bit of debris, that's a lot of it, and big spark there. But it doesn't appear as if he's got any damage to the front wing or floor of that car.
That Carlin team is going to see that, though, and they're going to hold their breath the rest of the way.
The straight line speed of Leist's car is truly impressive. One thing to note, we have rookies here, 1, 2. We have some veterans behind them that know what to do when we get down to the final laps. The real thing that's going to be interesting, though, good Lord, that wall's getting closer. Matthias, can you get around him? That motor is screaming. The aerodynamics are helping him to cut through the air. Beyond talent, beyond experience, he is a pretty powerful hot rod right now.
And I think another reason why they're a little bit more spread out this year than they've been in years past is that the ambient temp is actually quite a lot warmer, and so that makes the air thinner and makes it a little bit more difficult to follow the car directly ahead of you. But Aaron Telitz, I think if he were out in clean air right now, he might actually be able to pull away, but rightly so, Marshall, it looks like Matthias Leist has an absolute bullet of an engine in that Carlin car.
The other thing, too, if we just keep in mind of what we've seen so far through 24 laps, Telitz has been doing a lot of passing. He's been hard on that steering wheel, carving in and out. That's using tires. You look at Matthias, he hasn't had that pressure. So I think if Aaron can stay close for the next 10, 15 laps before he really starts to push for that win, then we could see something happen. But if he's going to keep charging like he is, I'm wondering if he's going to use up those Cooper tires.
Katie Hargett has been monitoring the radio for the latest in the 2016 and says, no conversation. They're not talking at all. So that's a positive on their front. As Matthias Leist continues to lead, he's been out front from the go. Aaron Telitz has worked his way from 6th to 2nd. A little further back, Santi Urrutia is also a good mover from 12th to 6th. And he's working on Clayman DeMello right now, too.
But to me, it doesn't look like he's got the speed that he needs to. And let's check in with Katie.
And no word over the radio yet from Matthias Lace, but Trevor, Carlin, you guys came so close to winning this race last year with Ed Jones. What did you learn from that you applied with Matthias this year?
Well, to be honest, what we learned last year doesn't really apply to today because it's a different race and different drivers, but this is Matthias' first ever oval race. So it's going to be very difficult for him. But so far, he's doing a great job. I hope he can be calm. If he loses the lead now, perhaps he can get it back on the last lap. That's the only lap that counts.
And not only is Ed a good racer, he's upstairs in our booth. I didn't know if you knew.
Okay, that's great. Hi, Ed. Hi, mate.
Say hello, Ed. I know he can't hear you.
Yeah, he can't hear me.
But he's one of the guys that helped get you where you're at right now.
I spoke with Ed's IndyCar engineer, who definitely had a lot of thanks to Trevor Carlin, the Carlin team, said this kid right here next to me, impervious to pressure. How do you like that?
Oh, he is. He's cool, and he's ready, and he's fast, and has got a chance to have an impact in his first 500. Thank you for joining us today. The biggest weekend in motorsports. We kick it off here at Indianapolis, Monaco, Charlotte this weekend. You'll see reports from all 3 locations coming up in our NASCAR America Motorsports special at 3:30 today. But it is Carb Day at Indianapolis. We've already had the final IndyCar practice. The party continues after this race with the pit stop competition, music, and more. Stay with us from Indianapolis.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute to society. Any idiot with a gun can pull a job. My boys never understood that.
Animal Kingdom. Watch anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
I guess I was born with a crayon in my hand. I decided to see if there was a way for design to play a positive role in what was going on in the world. There's a jacket that's reflective for visibility, sleeping bag jacket, jackets that turn into tents. I usually do my fashion sketches on the computer. I love drawing on the screen. There's no lag time at all. It feels just like my markers. With fashion, you can dress people and help people. It's really cool to see your work come to life.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how the 100% Eversoft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true, like my heart, is with machismo. The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
You never thought the price of a laundry upgrade could be so low, or saving on a refrigerator could give you chills. With Memorial Day savings, never say never. Get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 40% on major appliances like this Whirlpool refrigerator, only at the Home Depot.
Of course it's cold. It's German. It's good to be the master. Jägermeister.
Back at Indianapolis, Carb Day, and the Indy Lights Freedom 100, 3/4 of the way through, and it's heating up. Aaron Telitz just made a little look at Matthias Lace, who has led from the jump starting from the pole, but Aaron Telitz is on the charge.
He is, and it was all about that run through turn 3 and turn 4. He got the line perfect in turn 4, got under the air of Matheus Leist, and therefore got a great run. And then Matheus Leist all the way down to the bottom of the track trying to protect his position. But he is truly under pressure now from Aaron Telitz. He's feeling it.
And they're bunching up. Dalton Kellett in that aqua blue car running in third. The 28 for Andretti is not far back. And then behind him is Neil Alberico in another Carlin car. And that's Santi Urrutia in the gold car taking a look on Clayman DeMello. That's a battle for 5th position.
Yeah, Santi Urrutia just cannot do anything at the moment, but pay attention to Aaron Telitz as he goes through turn 2 in that Sol Red Mazda car. He gets a big push and that washes him up really, really wide, and as Marshall mentioned during the break, that's where he loses his time. But then come up here to turn 3 and turn 4, that's where he picks up all his time. So now look at his line here as he manages to keep it so tight, and he might have a run here to come onto the front straight and draft up on the blue car of Matheus Leist.
That's Anders Krohn. Marshall Pruitt from Racer Magazine is with us. I'm Kevin Lee. Ed Jones, last year's Indy Lights champ, is in the booth, a rookie in IndyCar. So what are they thinking right now? What's the strategies you start to think about the final laps?
Yeah, well, it looks like Telitz is going all out at the moment. He's not really holding back, and it seems really difficult to get by Leist. You know, that's seen the theme the whole race. No matter who's behind him, they've been able to get close, but they haven't been able to pass. So I think Leist is just trying to stick to his same line. I know he has the same spot as I had last year, so he's getting some great advice on what to do. But it'll be interesting now. I think as Telitz gets really close, maybe he can get a run now down onto the front straightaway. But yeah, it's getting late now. There's not too many laps left, and I think he's desperate to try and make a move.
While we watch this, let's check in with Katie.
And you guys have been talking about how hard Matheus Leist has been to get around, and Aaron maybe giving him a hard time trying to get that lead. The team just came over the radio and said, we need you to go lower in 1 and 3 as you see Aaron Telitz make a pass for the lead, Kevin.
Side by side, Telitz in the Sol Red car to the outside. The blue car in the low line is Leist, who has dominated this race so far. Telitz is trying to get to the front, can't quite get it done, and Leist hangs on to the lead in Indianapolis.
But now Aaron Telitz needs to suck up and go up to the high side again, keep it absolutely pinned on the high side here. This could be determining the winner here. He can't quite get it done around the outside here, but I think he might be able to get it lined up through turn 4.
Leist manages to maintain the advantage and then gaps it by 3 car lengths. Telitz went after it, and that's opened up the door for Dalton Kellett in third, running side by side for second down the main straightaway.
Yeah, it seems when anyone gets side by side with Leist just seems to keep the momentum up and get back past them. That's the problem. Usually you slipstream and then it's easy to pull out and get ahead, but that's not happening when people are running up on Leist.
And listen to the crowd reacting to Dalton Kellett getting to second around Aaron Telitz. Alberico in the blue car in fourth is lurking, and Santi Urrutia has grabbed that 5th position. Still at least 5 in play in the Freedom 100, more than 5 laps remaining.
Aaron Telitz has lost all sorts of momentum, so I'm wondering if his tires have fallen off here. He looks like he's got nothing left in the bag whatsoever.
Urrutia working on Alberico. Alberico goes down near the pit wall divider to defend, and Urrutia will still manage to squeak his way through on the inside. Can he make it stick side by side for 4th? And Urrutia grabs the spot.
Maybe this is all planned out here for Santi Urrutia. Maybe Santi Urrutia has hung back this entire time, saving his Cooper tires on this car. He's a rocket ship on the track at the moment.
From 12th to 4th, it's been a nightmare season for the driver that was a lap away from winning the championship in the Mazda Scholarship to get to IndyCar last year. Can this be the breakthrough for Santi Urrutia? Still a lot of work to do. He's running 4th. Telitz in 3rd. Kellett in 2nd. Leist, the leader. There's Kellett in that aqua blue car. 2nd place with Telitz trying to work on him once again.
See, Telitz is going to be frustrated right now because he's feeling like Dalton Kellett should be pushing Matheus Leist into making a mistake here. He's got to show his wing upside, downside. He's got to show his wing absolutely everywhere to stress Matheus Leist, because I think on outright pace alone, they're not going to beat the blue car of Matheus Leist today.
He's led every lap from pole. Santi Urrutia just set the fastest lap at over 97 miles per hour as Telitz takes a little look on Kellett, can't get him there.
And this is perfect here for Santi Urrutia. Every time Aaron Telitz moves around like that, he loses a little bit of momentum, and that gives Santi Urrutia a run. Beautifully done here for Santi Urrutia to hang on.
Faster that time by, over 198 for Urrutia.
The happiest driver in the track right now, Mateus Lace. Let everyone behind him fight, work, scrub, run their tires down. He is someone who's looking in his mirrors and thankful that folks are jousting.
Contact, we think, in the back. We stay green for the moment. Ed, you saw something. There's Urrutia that slapped it.
But in the corner before, it was Neil Alberico that hit the wall, and that was a big impact with the wall as well. He keeps going, but does not opt to go into the pits. But both these cars now, in the matter of 2 corners, and yes, Santi Urrutia with big damage in that gold car.
Will we stay green as we head to 2 to go? Now it is a 3-car fight up front. Thielitz in third in the Soul Red car. Kellett in second in the Aqua Blue car. And up front it's Mateus Lace, who's led every lap in his first oval start ever.
And at this point in time, Mateus Lace is just going to be looking down, making sure he hits every mark. Just give your opponents a little bit of dirty air in the middle of each corner. Pay attention to your mirrors. See exactly where the other cars are placing themselves. Figure out where do I need my bars for turn 1 and turn 2. Where do I need my bars for turn 3 and turn 4. Looking great so far.
Brazilians have a fantastic history at this racetrack in the Indianapolis 500. Can Mateus Lace become the latest winner at Indy? He's led every lap, but can he lead the big one? We are coming down to it. Main straightaway. 3 cars still in the mix, and the white flag at Indianapolis. Who's going to win the Freedom 100?
One final chance here for Dalton Kellett to line up a run. You see him all the way down on the apron on those rumble strips. That's where the car gets oh so free and so difficult to control. But Dalton Kellett's going to just hang it out here and see what happens.
Does he have enough? Thielitz is not quite close enough. Kellett's got the back half of the backstretch to make a move. Laced by 3 or 4 car lengths on the north end of the track. Seems to be in control. Final turns for Mateus Lace. Through 4, back on the main straight. Nobody's going to catch him. Mateus Lace dominates from pole and wins his first oval race, and it's at the most famous race course in the world. Mateus Lace has won the Freedom 100, his first win in Indy Lights.
Mateus Lace and Carlin Racing, you guys have done it from being rookies to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway 2 years ago to now being winners in the Freedom 100. Boy, what a job.
And while Lace wins, Aaron Thielitz got the move made to finish second, getting past Dalton Kellett. Let's go back and look behind the leader. Kellett tried to defend. And a drag race to the line for second, and Thielitz got him by about a quarter of a car length.
And that was all because Dalton Kellett went all out on the final corner, went all the way down to the apron, lost some momentum, and then Aaron Thielitz had his shot. But Mateus Lace, man, what a performance.
That was a drive for Mateus Lace. Impressive. We'll hear from the winner and plenty more. We've got much more coming up from Indianapolis.
Made me the Civic hatchback from Honda.
We are just another law-abiding family, doing our best to contribute to society. Any idiot with a
Guys, I
gun
just
can
wanted to
pull a
say, originally I was going to stream the Indy 500, but I do not think I'm going to be able to anymore. And that's because I'm actually going to the Indy 500 on Sunday. So, I mean, keep an eye out for the personal video that I put out of the Indy 500.
Microsoft and its partners are using smart traps to capture mosquitoes and sequence their DNA to fight disease. There are over 100 million pieces of DNA in every sample. With the Microsoft Cloud, we can analyze the data faster than ever before. If we can detect new viruses before they spread, we may someday prevent outbreaks before they begin.
Some people think talking about soft things makes you a softie. So if I'm going to talk about the incredibly soft Fruit of the Loom Eversoft tea, I'm going to do it while riding a grizzly. And if I'm going to go on about how the 100% Eversoft cotton feels like a poem against my supple skin, I'm going to do it in the manliest way possible. Because the only way to express that this lay flat collar stays true heart is with machismo.
The Fruit of the Loom Eversoft team. You don't have to be a softie to love how soft it is.
Come on, please miss this. Please miss this.
Down to a free throw.
What is this?
It's a voodoo doll. You know, it's a big shot.
Voodoo doll.
Right, yeah. Okay, got his arm.
Oh, no. It's a miss, but, oh, man.
Put it back. Put it back.
What is that? His hip? His pelvis?
I'm just trying to
Well, then he at least needs to be symmetrical.
We could have a bit of a delay, but we'll be back with overtime.
Back at Indianapolis, plenty more to come on Carb Day. We've seen another good one in the Freedom 100. Good finish, but this is how good these races have been. That's only the 9th closest finish we've seen at 0.7 of a second. Matheus Leist has won his first Indy Lights race, and we've got some championship leaders. Kaiser, the leader, coming in. Jameen was second, finishing 9th and 10th.
Yeah, and Ryan Norman, obviously not a great day for them and Colton Herta.
All right, let's hear from the winner. Katie's climbing out. Matheus Leist has won at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And not only does he win, Kevin, he dominates, leading lap to lap. Matheus Leist winning in your very first oval start, even with pressure from other drivers. How did you stay focused?
Yeah, it was a tough race, but we had a pace, so I'm very happy. The car was just amazing. I just want to say thank you to everyone, to Carlin, Cooper Tires, Mazda. It was just an amazing race. And as well, my first race in an oval, and I couldn't be happier.
Some very other famous names have won here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, including other Brazilians like Helio Castroneves and Tony Kanaan. Yeah. Do you model yourself after them?
Yeah, it's tough to say, but I think this was my first win here in Indy Lights, and still a long journey. Hope to be winning here in Indy 500 one day.
And also great for Carlin Racing to get to victory lane here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
No doubt. And Marshall, let's speak to that. Their 3rd year, and they have already won a championship with Ed Jones last year, but it's a good example of what's available for racing teams in America.
Kevin, we're here celebrating the drivers, obviously. This is huge for Matheus, but Indy Lights is also a series where team owners can come in, learn, prove, and hopefully move to IndyCar. This is what Trevor Carlin's done. So this is just a wonderful thing to see that as an infrastructure, IndyCar wants Trevor Carlin there as soon as possible. When you can win the Freedom 100, it tells other entrants elsewhere in the world and other championships it's worth investing here.
Here's how the championship stacks up. So Herta goes out on lap 1, but luckily for him, the two just ahead of him in the championship also finish a little further back. Kaiser still leads Jameen. Telitz is a jumper, and Kellett moves into the top 10 as we look one more time at the finish in the battle for seconds.
And Aaron Telitz had a photo finish today at Indianapolis. Unfortunately, not for the win, but for second. You saved it till the last lap. Certainly, I know you wish you had more last, but that was an exciting finish on your behalf.
Absolutely, definitely an exciting finish. I wasn't saving it for last. I was trying to get around Matheus for first place there earlier in the race, but just couldn't get it done. Our car was good in traffic, getting runs, but I think they must have been a little bit more trimmed out than we were, because when I get alongside of him, he just had a little bit more speed. So, but a great run. I got to thank the Bilardi Auto Racing guys, Mazda, Race Like Wang Systems, Maury's Auto Group for all their support this year.
Now, when you started to challenge and you started to put yourself in that position, did you lose some grip then and then lose? I mean, is it something you only had limited opportunities?
Definitely, yeah. I had limited opportunities. I wore off my front tires a bit in the race, and then I went really aggressive on the roll bars to try to get some front grip back, and I was even loose in traffic a couple of times just because of that when I went a little aggressive on the anti-roll bars. But, yeah, we had a great car in traffic, just not the car to win, unfortunately.
Well, thank you, and great finish.
Thanks, guys.
Katie?
And Jan, we know that this race always provides exciting finishes. Dalton Kellett on the other end of that exciting finish, though. Dalton, what were you thinking when Aaron got his way around you?
Well, it was a great move by Aaron, and basically what happened was we had a lot of understeer going through 4, and I knew I had a big run on lice going through 1-2, and I wanted to capitalize that and have another photo finish coming across the outer bricks, but I knew if I took my regular line, I wouldn't be able to stay behind him. So I was trying to play with the apron, get the car to rotate a bit, and it rotated too much. Got a moment, had to check up, and kept the car off the wall, but Aaron got me. So good move by Aaron for that last lap pass.
What is it about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that provides such exciting finishes and passes?
I think it's, especially with the Mazda IL-15, we we're going a little bit slower. We can go flat out on the whole track. We can run side by side really easily, and it just makes for great drafting. You know, you have a really strong field in Indy Lights this year, and it just shows all these guys are able to race hard and race well. I think that's what causes all this excitement that we see.
And unfortunately, there was a little bit of excitement on the first lap between Colton Herta and Ryan Norman. What was your perspective on that?
Well, we got the replay right here. So I'm on the inside. It's the first lap, and I think I caught a bit of dirty air from the car in third, and Colton was right beside me, and I understeered up into him, spun him around. He collected Ryan. So, you know, I think we'll probably take a good look at the video when we get back, because that's, you know, obviously you never want to have contact with your teammates. And, yeah, it's really unfortunate for the Andretti Autosport crew, but at least we managed to have a podium finish.
Thanks, Dalton.
Third for the second year in a row at Indianapolis. Around the horn, final thoughts. Marshall.
We have Brazil, Wisconsin, Canada, California, and Uruguay in the top 5. This is Indy Lights, friends. This is the Freedom 100. So happy we're making the future stars.
Ed, how are your nerves 2 days away from the biggest race of your life?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's run so well this week, and hopefully we've got a really good race car for Sunday.
Ed Jones, by the way, has the best qualifying effort ever for a Dale Coyne racing car in 27 years at Indianapolis. A fun one again, Anders.
It was indeed, and this place never fails to disappoint. We said that the championship wouldn't be in focus today. Well, it shook things up big time.
We are just getting started, though, throughout the day. The party is rolling on. Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy, Marty Snyder, the rest of the group coming back in just a moment. And don't forget, as we highlight the biggest weekend in motorsports, our special coming up from Charlotte and Monaco. And up next, Lee Diffie is going to join us from Monaco with a report on the Monaco Grand Prix. Stay with us. Plenty more coming up from Indianapolis on Carb Day.
Alright guys, thank you for watching. Yeah, just keep a lookout for the Indy 500 video that's going to come out. Should be out by either Sunday night or Monday morning. So, thanks for watching, guys.
From Honda.